What effect does being a caretaker and experiencing inner child trauma have on a person?
Yeah, being a caretaker that has experienced childhood trauma has definitely made me a lot more sensitive and empathic, and also very, very aware of others who have experienced similar types of childhood dysfunction growing up. So I feel like it's really helped me to create a deeper understanding and compassion for others that share a similar struggle. So that's with my one-on-one sessions and also in my group sessions. I feel like I'm in a different place right now because I've done the work myself, and that's really important. We can't bypass that, right? So, yeah.
Great. And can you speak about how you help others navigate through their challenges of similar experiences of trauma and toxic relationships?
I think trust building is the most important thing. Having a strong support system and somebody that you can talk to that'll always be there for you, right? So just building that rapport and attuning to my clients so we're on the same level. Basically not talking down or pretending that I understand exactly what their challenges have been, but really listening well and really being open and heart-centered and really holding that space where people can feel safe with me and really open up, because it is like a step-by-step exploration. Healing doesn't happen overnight. I wish it did, but it doesn't. But it is a journey. So it's not about rushing to the destination, but really kind of like exploring each step of our journey to create more self-compassion for what we've been through and where we're going.
That's wonderful. And can you speak about how you developed your programs, products, and services from your own experiences?
Yeah, everything I get excited about, I know that others are going to be excited about it. And I'm just told by my guides on a daily basis, sometimes at night, in the middle of the night, they wake me up and they kind of give me the answers that I wouldn't have been alerted to during the day, because we're always so busy and we're in our busy brain, but we're not really tapped into our higher self, the messages from our spirit guides and the spirit world. So I know that when I'm guided to offer to facilitate a class, a program, certification, whatever it is, or just work with a new client, I'm always divinely guided. Like I get the whispers, the feelings, I get the downloads like right before I'm going to work with them. So I've learned to trust that over the years, and for many years I didn't listen. I second guessed and I doubted my own psychic gifts and intuitive abilities, as an empath. And that only got me into trouble. So I've learned to listen and to offer something that I know will be valuable, not only for myself, but for others. Because when I'm healing others, I'm receiving that healing right back in return. So that's what's great about being an energy healing practitioner.
Okay. And how do you offer guidance towards recovery and reestablishing a relationship with oneself through your programs?
Yeah, I think really getting to know each person, taking time to meet with them on Zoom or by phone. I get to meet people from all over the planet, because my work is not just like a cookie cutter, like factory aligned system, like conveyor belt system, where like I'm going to say the same things, I'm going to be guided to offer the same tools or exercises or energy processes to run for everybody. It's going to be different, and each session is really divinely guided and channeled. And so I think that most people really appreciate that I'm treating everybody with the utmost respect, and that everybody is an individual. Everyone has a different background, and we can't assume anything. That just because one type of healing modality works for one client doesn't mean that it's going to work for everyone. So it's not a one size fits all. The way I work with people is totally personal. It's really getting to know them and help them know themselves, help them remember who they are and why they're here, what their gifts are, how they can turn things around in their life and just live a more rewarding life. So I think that that's really important, because many of us have blinders, including me. We all have blinders and blind spots, I should say. And sometimes we just need a gentle guide who can really see them, because we can't see these things ourselves, and we all have these blocks. So I think that that's how I do it. I just want to really be there for them, like a trusted friend or a confidant, not like the expert or someone that knows everything about everyone. So everyone's on a different path, so that's really something to honor.
Okay. And can you talk more about channeling their higher self?
Teaching people to channel their higher self, is that what you said? Yeah. I think it's a question of practice, and it's a question of just having someone be a witness. And I take people through different psychic exercises, different types of processes where people can actually feel that they're getting it right, that they're starting to trust their intuition, that their third eye is opening, that they feel more aligned with their higher power. And I think that that's really, really important too. Practice makes perfect, as they say. And so instead of me telling people what to do, I'll usually demonstrate, how to trust your own intuition, so that they can prove themselves, like that they were right, that they do know what they're talking about. Because most people tend to deny their gifts. Most people tend to say, oh, I'm not psychic, I can't hear spirit, I can't see spirit, I can't feel spirit. And then when I challenge them and I push back on that, they're like, oh yeah. I'll ask them something like, well, tell me about a recent dream you had, or something that you knew was going to happen that actually happened. And then they'll say, oh yeah, I got this guidance. I'm like, okay, so you actually are more psychic than you gave yourself credit for. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I am. We're definitely not taught that in this world. So I think that it's really important to give people grounded and practical tools, but also to show them that they have the power inside of them.
And can you talk about who spirit guides are and the role they play in this process? And then how do you help people connect with guides, and how do you connect with the guides?
That's a lot of questions there in one shot.
So we'll start.
I'll do my best to answer.
Okay.
So spirit guide, or a guardian, or an ally, is basically like a protective presence. A spirit guide is an archetype for a version of our higher, or our highest self, right? The self that contains the immortal self, the wise and intelligent self, the infinite self that already knows everything, that already has all the solutions to their problems. That's the part that we become disconnected from. So I work with different types of guides. Some are from this, in this plane or this realm, and some are from higher dimensions, like the 5D spirit guides. I work with spirit surgeons and doctors and healers. I work with goddesses like Isis, and different powerful archetypes that actually represent, or they're a mirror reflection of ourselves and our own potential, our greatest potential. And basically how to channel them is just to kind of sit down, breathe, relax, light a candle, dim the lights, and just work with someone like me. It could be any kind of healer or a shaman or a Reiki practitioner. And just what I do is I walk people step by step through this process. And it really has everything to do with trust, self-trust, trusting that you already have what it takes inside, and connecting to your spirit guides, because everybody has different spirit guides that work with them at different times in their lives. Some stay for a while. You get the lessons, you learn the life lessons, right? Maybe there's a specific soul theme that you're working on. You get it, you graduate from that guide, and then they go on to other souls. And then a new guide steps in when you're ready, because there's always going to be a new life lesson that where we're being spiritually tested. And everybody has those moments in their lives. No one is excluded from that. So different guides serve different purposes. You know, sometimes if you're too much in your masculine, you want a feminine guide, like a goddess, or somebody like Kuan Yin to come in and teach you about compassion. So I guess that's the simple answer to your question.
Okay,
Does that make sense, hopefully?
Yes. So you talked about, who spirit guides are and the role they play. And yes, how do you help people connect with guides? And
also ancestors, because ancestors are also guides. Sometimes dearly departed loved ones become our spirit guide on the other side. Sometimes animals, you know, like my cat that I just lost was my soul cat. You know, just like we have human soulmates, we also have animal soulmates. That's why I teach animal Reiki. And so it could take on the form of an angel, a spirit guide, or an archangel. Like I said, it could be an earth or a star ancestor, you know, from your home planet, from, you know, a planet that feels that you're familiar with, or that feels like, oh yeah, I feel at home on this planet, like Pleiades or Venus or Sirius. So, you know, some shamans are guides too, like, and totem medicine animals, and they come from the earth. And if you need to be more grounded and more connected to the earth, then one of those guides will step in. But the most important thing is to be open and receptive.
Right. And that's how you connect with the guides, because you're open.
Yes, to be in your heart space, not in your head space. Yeah. And that also takes practice, because that also takes a lot of trust, and moving beyond any uncomfortability that might come up, because sometimes we resist and we avoid, we contract our bodies because we fear our own bodies. We never learned how to feel safe and at home in our bodies. So that's another process that I teach people, how to live in their heart, how to be present from moment to moment as well.
Great. And what does truly connecting mean?
Because we're so disconnected, we're so disenfranchised, we're so disillusioned, disoriented. We're not really connected in our own bodies. We're not really truly present. We're in our heads. We're not really fully embodied. We're not soul embodied. So connected means, you know, experiencing that sense of ease and space, and allowing, receiving all the pleasurable sensations that go along with it, relaxation, the sense of freedom in our bodies, and the gift, the gratitude of even having a body. That's being connected inside. But connecting outside would be connecting to the upper worlds, the lower worlds, connecting to all the different dimensions which our soul resides in. And that, again, that's a process, but I think it's like lowering your barriers, dropping your guard, right? And just feeling safe and vulnerable in your body, like nothing to hide or hold on to, just being fully present to whatever blessings are awaiting us. Because if we're not, and we're regurgitating the past, or we're in anticipation or anxiety about a future that will probably, worst case scenario, that will probably never happen, then we're not really connected. We're disconnected from our true selves and from the beauty all around us.
And who are you at a cosmic level?
I love this question. I've always been connected to the stars, to the feeling of like celestial life, or to the feeling of this openness and the Milky Way galaxy, you know, to astrology, to astronomy, because I know that there are these advanced, when we're told, and it's been proven by quantum science, quantum mechanics, that, you know, there are quantum realms where there are higher dimensional frequencies and advanced healing technologies. And I do believe in that. Once we learn to get out of our own human way, our own selves, our lower vibrational selves, that we're all working toward that goal. We're all connected because we're made of the stars, we're made of the earth, but we're also made of stardust, right? And we are all ascending, and we're ascending to the higher dimensions, to the great central sun, And it's not going to happen overnight, but the more of us wake up and awaken to this spirit of unity consciousness and togetherness as a collective, the better off we'll all be. So I like to think of myself as a star child, or I've also worked with star indigo children, because there are indigos, there are star kids, and I've supported all of these crystals, diamonds. These are the higher dimensional beings. So I just know that there's a better quality of life in the higher dimensions. We just haven't arrived there quite yet, and there's just so much. This is the hardest realm, the hardest dimension to really live on, because there's so much density and there's so much heaviness and division, especially over the last 2 years. So there is like a split, and a lot of us are feeling very split. So I think that if we can all get together, cooperate and collaborate with each other, then that's the only hope I think we have for a really stable future, a better future.
Great. And how does working with you differ from other healers?
So like I said before, I think it's like, I don't believe in a all in one, like one size fits all. Thank you. One size fits all, cookie cutter, and I know that there are other people, there are other practitioners that I'm aware of their tools and their toolbox and their healing modalities, and the speech, it almost sounds scripted, like they're just repeating the same thing over and over again 10 years later. I like to listen to the voices of spirit and listen to the nudges, and always improve upon what I offer, always expand upon all the tools in my toolbox. So it's never going to be the same for two people at all. And again, it's like any other important relationship. It's built on trust, and it just grows over time, and I know that there are also other people in my industry who, they might be in it for the wrong reasons. I'm not saying all, but I'm just saying that makes it hard for people like us. And sometimes it's those type of people will stay present and available for you during a program or a course, but then they'll just disappear if you don't continue paying them. They won't be there. And I want to change that paradigm, because I know that when I was studying Reiki for a year, and my Reiki master was there, but then after the course, he was like, well, I can't keep talking to you, like the course is over. And I was so heartbroken, because I felt like I could trust him, and then all of a sudden he wasn't there for me anymore. So since that time, I made a promise that I would always be there for my clients. Even if they call me 5 years later, I'll still be available for a call, no matter what.
Great. Well, those were the questions I had. So,
thank you. Thank you so much. That was awesome. I really appreciate you, and thank you for spending time with me today.